applicant must have worked between March 10th and May 7th of 2022 in one of these occupations that the state has listed. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel. Eligible applicants must earn at least. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel, food and agricultural workers, grocery store staff, and public transit workers. Applicants must earn less than $150,000 per year and cannot be employed by a federal or state entity. Full-time workers who earn less than $100,000 can apply for a $1,000 grant. Those earning more than $100,000 but less than $150,000 are eligible for grants on a sliding scale, ranging as low as $200. Part-timers working less than 30 hours a week can apply for a $500 grant. The application period will run until October 1st, and the goal is to process requests within a 60-day window. And for the company of Lowe's, the CEO said that in recognition of high inflation, we're providing $55 million in bonuses to our hourly frontline associates this quarter. And though there has been a slight decrease in gas and travel costs, recently the impacts of inflation are still affecting Americans, making it tougher for families to afford groceries and other essential goods. Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Walmart, USA have also offered bonuses, pay raises, and even gift cards to employees. But still, many of the nation's employers are still not paying their workers a living wage. The company website states that Lowe's employs around 300,000 associates, but it has not specified how much money each worker will receive and over what time period.
Between the White House and administration and Democrats up on Capitol Hill. Earlier today, both the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and the Senate Republican leader, the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, were on CNBC, and they explained really the fundamental philosophical dilemma here, which is all about how much is the U.S. government going to spend. Here's what they said.
Refund that's given to each resident who files an income tax return for the previous fiscal year. And the first round of distributions is set to be received on or before September 12th. And with two additional distribution dates scheduled for September 9 and 13, according to the governor's office, those who have not filed tax returns, owed money to the government, or filed their taxes after July 31st will receive their checks 10 weeks after the Department of Taxation receives documents. The governor said in a statement, "It's my hope that the $300 million in tax refunds begins to go distributed so far, bring some relief to the hardworking people in the state of Hawaii who were hit hard by the crisis." According to the governor, the amount each person will receive as part of a refund is determined by the person's filing status, adjusted gross income, and the number of claimed exemptions. Single filers earning an annual income of under $100,000 will receive one-time checks of $300, with single taxpayers with a higher gross of income receiving $100. Married couples who file joint returns are also set to receive $300 as part of the one-time payments. In addition to the stimulus checks, Hawaiians can look forward to the state's minimum wage being raised for the first time since 2018. The bill approved by Governor Ige raises the minimum wage of $10.10 per hour to $12 an hour starting October 1st. Also, some good news for you guys that live in Indiana. They can expect to see another $200 in your bank account after Indiana lawmakers approved a second set of payments during the special session. This cash comes from the state surplus. Governor Holcomb pitched the idea of a $225 check to help Indiana residents struggling with high gas prices and inflation. In the Indiana House bill and Senate took approaches to different inflation relief checks. The House plan mirrored the governor's proposal and include payments of $225 to residents, while the Senate plan, on the other hand, includes a proposal to... It's on the way right now, everybody. More and more fourth stimulus payments have been approved. Congress is going to take huge action this week to establish new financial assistance programs, and millions of Social Security, Ssdi, Ssdi, and RRB beneficiaries can expect to receive new stimulus payments. States have announced their action plan to address the rising cost of living that so many people are facing. President Biden has also made announcements on how the White House plans to further lower prices for the...
But, Mr. President, since we passed the IRA, inflation has gone not up but down. We are lowering costs day by day for the American people with the passage of this legislation. Inflation is now half of what it was a few years ago. Across the board, costs are coming down for the American family. For the first time ever, we've made it possible for Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs, helping Americans save at the pharmacy. Because of the IRA, vaccines are free for Medicare beneficiaries, and a cap on out-of-pocket drug spending. No senior will have to pay more than $2,000 a year for drugs. It's coming very soon. What a relief for people, lowering costs on one of the things that bothered them most, the high cost of prescription drugs. That's what we Democrats are doing, while over there in the House, the Republicans are just racing to the bottom. We also capped the price of insulin for seniors on Medicare to $35 a month, spurring major companies like Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to follow suit. And millions of people who buy their health insurance on the ACA exchanges are now saving hundreds of dollars each month. Indeed, we are lowering costs.
They want you to claim this relief now, and millions of people residing in several states are missing out on another payment from the federal government. If you are a part-time worker or a senior citizen, you'll likely qualify for one of these checks. Nearly 1.5 million Americans that could be owed a share of the unclaimed tax refunds are going to get the stimulus cash, because according to the IRS, the outstanding funds are worth almost $1.5 billion, with an average payout of $900. Typically, there is a 3-year deadline to claim refunds before the cash becomes property of the U.S. Treasury. But because of the crisis, there has been an extension for the tax returns. It means taxpayers have until July 17 to claim the money back. And according to the IRS, Texas residents are owed the most, with an estimated 135,000 residents in the state sitting on an average of $924. It's totaling over $141 million. The state-by-state breakdown calculated by the agency shows that California residents have the second highest sum of possible refunds, with $141 million potentially owed to 145,000 people. Florida comes in third, with a median projected refund of $893 for about 90,000 residents. And the IRS predicts that about 81,000 New Yorkers could be owed almost $87 million, while people living in Illinois could be sitting on about $57 million in unclaimed cash. The state with the lowest sum of unclaimed tax refunds is Vermont, where 3,100 people could be eligible for just over $3 million in refunds. The average amount of money that could be owed is slightly over the national median at $901, because according to the agency, students, part-time workers, and seniors often overlook. Older adults just worry that the payments that are currently receiving will be cut by a looming shortfall in the federal program. It's important to understand that old age survivors and disability insurance affects not just seniors but also workers who develop disabilities in families in which a spouse or parent dies. And because Social Security is funded through a payroll tax era, employers and employees each pay 6% of wages up to the taxable maximum of $160,000. The trustees of the Social Security and Medicare reported that more than money is coming out than coming in. And without intervention, this trust fund will only have continuing tax income to pay out 77% of the scheduled payment. And starting in 2031,